On today's Watch and Learn, we're going to take a look at the finale of Kristina's quilting journey to Alaska. I'm Kim Sandberg.
I'm Kristina Whitney.
And we are wrapping up this 4-part series today. I am super excited about this because you're going to give us some last tips and tricks, behind the scenes, and we get to see the finished product finally.
Yes, so I'm going to focus on the center of the quilt, which was actually probably the easiest part because I'm just continuing what I've already done. I didn't really have to think of a whole lot more for this part. And there's only one part of it instead of 4 quadrants. So yeah, we're going to focus on that. And then also we've mentioned several times that we are field tripping to my house.
Yes.
And I am the one doing the video. So I wanted you guys to see the things that we go through to get those good shots for you. So I threw in some fun stuff for this one. And yeah, and then the final reveal.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
This is our last section, the very center of the quilt, and we are going to just finish it up. So first thing I want to do with this section is I want to really focus on this center. So I'm going to create a channel which divides it from the rest of the quilt. And this is that same 3/4 inch channel that we've been using throughout the whole project. Okay, now I want to subdivide this section as well. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a channel here. But I want to include these little diamonds. And I just said I'm creating a channel. I lied. It's not a channel. I'm stitching in the ditch. Then after I finish the stitch in the ditch, you can just imagine what's going to come next. Yep, I am going to echo around that whole thing. Okay, so let's echo that. And this is just going to be like a 1/4 inch echo. It's not going to be that big chunky 3/4 inch. Okay, now we're going to focus on this center star, doing the same thing that we have done in all of our previous stars. We're just going to stitch around it. Divide it. And add that little center section. I don't know if you've noticed while I've been quilting this that the dark prints really don't show this at all, but the ghost ones on the lighter fabric on some of the other blocks really showed that design there. Okay, let's echo. And again, this is a 1/4 inch echo. Excellent. Now I'm going to fill in the rest of this space with our pebbles. side here. Okay, so that is the center. Now let's go ahead and let's focus on this section here. So I'm going to stitch around that only up to my echo lines, and then I am going to echo that as well. So that's going to be the 3/4 inch echo, and I probably wouldn't stitch all the way in here. I would just continue that echo all the way around. Okay, in here I'm going to go back and add some feathers, so similar to what we were doing in some of the other shapes before. So you might be asking why I didn't continue that same kind of chevron shape that I did in these sections, but out on the last row. To be honest, I really didn't like those that much, but after I'd already stitched a couple of them, I wasn't about to unpick them, so I just continued on with that, but decided to change it up in this section. So the last thing that I have to do is the background on these outside stars, yeah, we'll call them stars, the diamonds. I'm just gonna do straight line all the way out from the center. So a little bit different than on some of the previous ones where the stripes went opposite directions. This one's going to be going the same direction throughout the whole thing. However, when I get to the next one, it's going to go from the center out. So all of these stripes will be going this direction. And now out from the center again. Channel's done. Now I'm going to do some stitch in the ditch, and I've changed my foot again. So I was just thinking, I wonder how many times I have changed my foot in the process of making this quilt. I have no clue. So it looks like I've already done some stitch in the ditch along this outside section. So I'm going to pull out some of this basting. Oh, and this is so satisfying. This is like the last section of basting that I have to undo. Grab my garbage. Okay. At this point, I need to do this section and the one that's already up. And rather than going ahead and doing these that are in my throat space, I'm going to go ahead and bring my fabric back towards me so that I'm working in this prime real estate section here. That allows me to not reach quite so far and put that extra strain on my back. And I have to say that my extra hand wheel has been fantastic. I've got it on this front bar here. And it just makes it so much easier as I'm doing all of this back and forth constantly throughout this quilt. So anyway, that's just something that I have enjoyed having on my machine as I've been working on this project. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the fabric back to me, making sure all of my excess stuff is out of the way. Also, before I get into that, let me point out that this is a hopping foot, so you might notice that sometimes I've got huge seams here. I've got so much bulk right there that I can't get this foot over it. So I can just take my fingers and lift up on this post, move it into position, and then drop it down. And it seems to play a little bit better when I do that. Okay, where's my ruler? There it is. Going to just use my regular surefoot with the ruler, and I might even swap out rulers part way and just see which one I'm liking the most. But I'm going to put the edge of the ruler directly on that seam line, and then the stitch is going to be 1/4 inch away. So get it going here. So I've changed my mind. I'm gonna stitch in the ditch around here, and then I'm gonna just do a 1/4 inch echo. So that'll be a little bit more continuous with this section here. I'm gonna change my settings, so I'm slowing down. I'm at 50 for my cruise speed. So another reason that I changed to a 1/4 inch instead of 3/4 inch is now I can just travel along here and then continue on with my echoing going back, and I don't have to change my feet. Now that I finished my echo, I can just travel along this existing stitch line here and then come in and do the feathers. And I'm just gonna use my water soluble and just kind of draw a basic spine. It's not gonna be my actual spine, but it'll kind of help me keep it in the proper positioning. So I'm just gonna bring my machine back to about center point. And get rid of my threads. And I'm also going to change my settings because I'm not going to be using rulers here. So I'm going to up my cruise speed to, I'm going to go to 250. Okay. And I'm going to adjust my handlebars. Okay, here we go. Travel back down the spine here. I'm gonna have one little feather there at the top. Okay, and I'll do the same thing in the other 3 sections. Before I jump into the next section, I just want to tell you that this is real world quilting right here. Sweats, wet hair, getting ready to go to a volleyball tournament, so getting in a little bit of stitching. Also, I wanted you guys to see how things actually happen. So some of the times you might say, oh, I can't see what she's doing, or her hand's in the way. So to try to make things better, I use different techniques. So sometimes I use the camera that you're looking at right now. Sometimes I use this camera where it's getting a close-up shot. And sometimes I even put a mount on my chest with my camera so that it can move as I'm moving. So I do try a lot of tricky things.
So I'm going to let you see what it's actually like for me doing some of this ruler work while I've got a camera in between me and what I'm working on. So here we go. We're going to be doing some of these stripes here. So I'm lining up my ruler, and I'm going to stitch down. And I've already gone ahead and done some of the marking on this, just so you guys can see what I'm aiming for. And also it helps me because I don't have any lights on for camera purposes. And also it's kind of hard for me to get up here to actually see my markings when I've got a camera in my way. So here we go. And I'm making these every 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to turn my lights back on, and you'll kind of see how that appears for you as a viewer. But it allows me to actually see what I'm doing. So now I can use my grid lines because I can kind of see what I'm doing. And if I was doing this without a camera in between me, I would not be bending over like I am, but I would be sitting down, and I'd be able to hold the ruler however I needed to and not worry about blocking the camera view, which I'm probably going to be doing here. Okay, so now I'm going to just travel along that existing line. It looks like I need to do a line there. I'm going to just finish filling in this last section here, then I will go back and do the other side of this whole section, so over here, and I will also do it in the other 4 quadrants, or I guess the other 3 quadrants, because I've already done one. Turn those lights back off so it's easier for you guys to see. So I changed to the camera mount because I have to go on the other side, and I can't get my arm there when I've got the tripod in the way. So we're going to try it with the chest mount and see how we do. Again, I've got my lights turned off, so it's a little bit tricky to see, but we'll make it work. So here we go.
One section done, 3 more to go. Finished my last section. Now I'm going to spray it down, get rid of all those marks. And I think that I am done with the center of the quilt, which means I only have one little section left. So if you remember from the previous video, I had this section down here that I couldn't decide what I wanted to do on this background section. I was debating between doing the pebbles or doing the straight lines. And after doing the straight lines, I'm thinking I might just go free motion pebbles. So I'm gonna work on that next. It's done. I'm gonna take it off now. So just removing the basting stitches. Woo! I made it to Alaska.
Finished. Now I need to get started on mine.
Oh, what a fun journey. Can I just tell you though, the 2.5 years of procrastinating doing this, it was worth it.
Oh, really?
The relief and the feeling that I have now and feeling like I did what I needed to do for this quilt. So it's been a great journey. And it's done. It's probably going to be hanging here at Handi Quilter for a while, so we'll see. If not, I've got a giant wall in my house that I could put it on. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. But my daughter has already asked when I'm going to bring the quilt up for a final photo shoot up in Alaska. So I don't think that the journey of this quilt is quite complete yet. So it's going to continue on for life.
Exactly. I know one other place that people would be able to see this quilt in person if they want to is at our academy this year in June. So if you happen to be coming or you want to come, if there's still spots available, I don't even know at this point, you could come and see the quilt in person because we are going to be featuring these at Academy this year.
Yep.
Well, Kristina, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for especially letting us come into your studio, your personal happy space. And seeing your process from start to finish. It's been fantastic.
I've enjoyed having everybody in my home.
If you'd like to have one of your quilts featured at the end of one of our videos, be sure to use #HandiQuilter anytime you post pictures of your quilts on social media. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe, and have fun quilting.